Your business was not meant to be a prison cell. Your business was meant to be a joy. Your business is supposed to work for you. You are not supposed to be working for your business. If you feel like you need to be spinning all of your plates, it's because you haven't built a team.
You're listening to the Profit First for Lawyers podcast, the official companion show to the book Profit First for Lawyers by RJon Robins. Now, this podcast is for you if you want to bring home more profit while working less hours in the office, spending more time with your loved ones doing the things you actually want to do, and turning your office into a lean, mean, profit-breathing machine. So if you're tired of working for your law firm instead of your law firm working for you, stay tuned for some really practical insights that will get you the results you've always wanted. It's time to put your BS aside for the next few minutes and put yourself, your family, your firm, and your profit first. Welcome back to another episode of the Profit First for Lawyers podcast. I'm your host, Carly, and today we're digging into a very sensitive topic that honestly we get more questions about than many others, right? And that's hiring, training, keeping, and firing your staff. Now, this is something that RJon touched on a few times in his book, Profit First for Lawyers, but the part that I've always gravitated towards is actually in chapter 5 when he speaks about the importance of setting your staff up for success and making sure that you have key performance indicators for them so that you can attack any problems that arise without attacking the person. We covered this a little bit in episode 15, and because we know you want to check that out, we've got it linked in our show notes below. But for now, we're going to do this particular episode in 3 parts. So first, we're going to talk about the fear that you may be feeling now, or that you may remember feeling, when thinking about hiring new staff members and how to overcome that so that you can stop chaining yourself to your desk and enjoy the freedoms of a flourishing law firm. Second, we're going to define what makes an A-team player an A-team player, and a B-team player, and a C-team player. You get the point. We're going to define all of those exactly so that you can gain some clarity on your own staff. And last, we're going to shine a light on a truth that might hurt a little bit, but that can also give you some hope if you've been facing staffing challenges and don't know where to go next. So, without any further ado, here's RJon in a timeless clip filmed almost a full decade ago, addressing the very real fear that law firm owners face when thinking about adding a new employee to their staff and what you can do about it. Let's roll the clip.
People, your people, are the most appreciable asset you have in your entire business. A lot of people think sales is the most important, and sales is important. A lot of people think marketing is important, and marketing is important, and financial controls are important, and getting your factory under control so that you can deliver on the promises that your business makes to your customers and your clients, that's important. But the most appreciable asset, what I mean by most appreciable, is where you can get the greatest return on your investment. We get the greatest return on our investment when we invest in our people. This is the order. You've all seen me do the thing where I lay out the order with marketing leads to sales, sales leads to the factory, factory leads to the physical plant leads to the people lead to the money and the metrics, and it all revolves around you. You've all seen me do that, right? You understand the concept. But this is actually the order in terms of your most appreciable asset. You are always going to be your most appreciable asset because you have unlimited potential to grow. And your business can never grow bigger than you are. Personal growth always has to precede professional growth. Your business is never going to get bigger than you will let it become. If you have to be the one spinning all the plates yourself, there's only so many plates you're going to be able to spin at the same time until things start to fall down. you are the greatest investment you can make in yourself. That's why I'm so proud of all of you for being here. And how many of you brought a team member? That's great. And I'm even more proud of you for bringing a team member, because now not only are you investing in yourself, but now you're making an investment in your people. Your people are your second most appreciable asset in your business. Because every dollar that you invest in growing your people can return almost an unlimited amount of dollars in return on investment. Every hour that you invest in your people can save you countless hours in return. Imagine the guy who was just spinning the plates. Imagine if he had put someone in charge of that first plate, and all that person did was spun that first plate, just kept it going. How hard would that first person have had to work to keep that first plate spinning, to keep the marketing going, if their job was just well engineered to keep the marketing going? If the pole was built correctly, if the plate was engineered correctly, if the person was trained how to keep the first plate spinning, that marketing could have kept going and going and going and going and going and going and going, while this guy was then working on building the sales. And then you put someone in charge of the sales, and that person could have kept the sales going and going and going and going, while the first person kept the marketing going and going and going. And then the second person gets the sales going and going and going. And then the owner of the business then goes to the third part of the business and gets the factory engineered and streamlined and puts someone in charge of the factory. And that person can keep the factory going and going and going. And then the physical plant, and then the people, and then the money and the metrics. And then you as the business owner, you get to actually stand on this platform that you've built and use your business for what it was meant for. Your business was not meant to be a prison camp that you report for duty in every day, every week, every month, every year for the rest of your life. Your business was not meant to be a prison cell. Your business was meant to be a joy. Your business is supposed to work for you. You are not supposed to be working for your business. If you feel like you need to be spinning all of your plates, it's because you haven't built a team. You haven't yet recruited a full team. You haven't built the team, and you're not providing the kind of leadership that the team needs to really take you and take themselves to success.
Your business, your law firm, was meant to be a joy. And if it's not, if you're not experiencing joy, if all you're experiencing right now is the grind, is the onset, or even just total burnout, then you may want to go back and listen to that clip again and figure out where you can hire someone, or maybe several someones, to spin some of those plates for you. Okay, let's talk about A versus F team players and how to identify where your own team may fall within that array. I feel like this is a pretty good time to remind you that this episode contains some words that may not be appropriate for young ears. Here's RJon.
All right, let's talk about the A team. How many of you feel like you have an A team? Okay. How many of you have a definition of the difference between an A team player versus a B team player? How many of you can explain the difference between an A team player, a B team player, a C team player, a D team player, and an F team player? He's like, I can't describe it, but I know it when I have gotten fucked over by it. All right, so here's my working definition, which I would encourage you to consider, all right? An A team player is someone who is on board with your mission. They're on board with your purpose. They don't have to have the exact same mission as you, but there's something about your mission that resonates with their mission. Helping you accomplish your mission helps them accomplish their mission. A B team player, they don't necessarily resonate with your mission. They're not offended by your mission, but it's not their mission. They like you. They want you to be successful. They're happy when you're successful. But your mission isn't necessarily their mission. You can make a lot of progress. You can make a lot of money. You can have a lot of fun with a B team player, but you've got to understand that they're not really motivated by your mission. They're motivated by you. And when you take you out of the equation, meaning when you grow to the point where you are no longer one-on-one personally supervising, mentoring, managing, working with them, beware, they may drift away, they may degrade into a C team player, or it may be time for them to move on somewhere else because they're not really motivated by your mission, they're motivated by you personally, and they'll spin that plate for you so long as you personally come by and give them a pat on the back every once in a while. And if you yourself personally stop patting them on the back every once in a while, they will eventually stop spinning that plate. As opposed to an A team player who's spinning the plate with you or without you, because spinning that plate helps them accomplish what they want to accomplish. A C team player. A C team player, they're kind of ambivalent. They don't really care. They like you just fine, but not that much. They like their job just fine. It's got nice hours. The seat is comfortable. It's air conditioned as opposed to being outside. That doesn't mean that they're bad people. That doesn't mean that they're going to do a bad job. That doesn't mean they're going to be dishonest. That doesn't mean they're going to steal from you. That doesn't mean that there's anything bad about them. They're just kind of ambivalent. They just don't give a shit that much. You want to build your business with C team players. It's like you're constantly going to be pushing them and giving them pep talks and cajoling them and checking up on them and having to micromanage them. Your D as in dogs, your D team players, these are the people who are passive resistors. They'll stage a sit-in. They won't burn down the building. They're passive aggressive. They grumble under their breath. They kind of go along, but they suck all the energy out of the job. They suck all the energy out of the business. They suck all the energy out of you, and they suck all the energy out of the rest of the team, not because they're trying to, but because they kind of don't like your mission. Maybe they don't like you, but there's something they don't like, and they don't have the courage to quit. It's like that song, "Take This Job and Shove It." You ever hear that song? The whole idea of "take that job and shove it" is the guy saying he was working in this factory where his friends keep getting killed. He hates his boss. He hates the job, but he doesn't have the courage to quit. And when the day comes that he finally has the courage to quit that job, then he'll say, "Take this job and shove it." This is a D player, right? Which brings us to your F team players. F as in fucking assholes. All right? Your F team players, they are actively in revolt. And if an F team player blows up in your face, I promise you from personal experience, it's your fault. They gave you lots of signals. They gave you lots of signs. They gave you lots of indications, and you ignored them. You ignored them. You talked yourself out of taking action on them. You explained, you justified, you excused. You fucked up.
Woo! Spoken in that way that only RJon can. Now, RJon actually tells a story about his own pretty hard lesson in leading a team. And I'm just going to paraphrase, but he talks about a time early on where he hired an A player and where they were both aligned in their professional reasons for wanting to grow, how to manage a small law firm. But throughout the course of a few years, while actually growing the business, RJon says that he failed to recognize when his own purpose and this A player's purpose were no longer aligned. And then this A player became a B player. And then over some more time, they quietly became a C player and then a D player. And finally, their employment came to a pretty swift end as they transitioned into an F player loudly and alarmingly in the middle of a conference in front of all of our members and staff and hotel staff and crew and all of the more than 100 people in the room at the time. So, this is not about shame or embarrassment because I think nearly all business owners have gone through a similar experience. But what do we do about it? What can we do practically to keep a finger on the pulse of our trusted employees and prevent, or at least identify much sooner, the downward slide from an A to an F team player? I have one last clip for you today, and you may want to brace yourselves. This is where job descriptions and quarterly reviews and systems and processes and having metrics and key performance indicators, this is where those come into play. Let's roll it.
It's important as we talk about recruiting, building, and leading your A team that we don't make it personal about the person. When you build this the right way, which we're going to be teaching you and taking you through some exercises throughout the rest of the day today and tomorrow, the philosophy, the value, the approach, the strategy must be go hard on the problem, easy on the person. Hard on the problem, easy on the person. If you don't have documented policies, if you don't have documented procedures, if you don't have documented job descriptions, if you're not doing quarterly reviews, then you can't really go hard on the problem because you can't ever really identify or define the problem. And what you default into too often is making it personal about the person. If a member of your team fails, it's because your organization failed them. It failed to be what they needed to be for them to reach their potential. And if the organization changes, then you as a leader failed to take inventory to recognize that what this person needed before is no longer what they need today and invite them to move on with the next part of their journey. If someone isn't growing with your organization every month, every quarter, your organization, in my opinion, isn't really doing its entire job. Your organization is supposed to be something that gives you a better life, and it's supposed to be something that gives your clients a better life, and it's supposed to be something that makes a contribution to the community, and it's also supposed to be a vehicle that helps an A team get from where they are now, closer or farther along on their journey to where they want to be.
Your law firm is a vehicle. It does so much good for the world and it should bring you joy, just like we said in the beginning. It should be a way for your staff to get closer to their goals and dreams too. And ultimately, it's just a better way to live when we stop putting so much stock in hiring purple unicorns. And instead, we take a measured and data driven look at what creates an A team and then put infrastructure in place so that we can build that. And that's what we've got for you today, folks. Thanks for spending some time with me. And if you found this episode valuable, here are just a few things that you can do to take action today. Number one, visit our page at profitfirstforlawyers.com/action to download our free resources, which again, I have curated just for you. Now, two, make sure if you haven't already that you snag a copy of RJon's book, Profit First for Lawyers, wherever you usually buy your books. And three, leave this podcast a 5-star review to help us be discovered by even more law firm owners just like you. If you enjoyed this conversation, you're really going to enjoy our next episode as we sit down again with team building expert Nicole Hanscom and talk about the practical aspects of leading a superstar team into the future. You're not going to want to miss it. We'll see you there. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Profit First for Lawyers. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, tell a friend and visit profitfirstforlawyers.com/action to download the resources that are going to help you put these concepts to work for your law firm. Your future self will thank you for it, and we will see you next time.